Mabuhay, this is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. I'm going to answer a question that apparently a lot of people are interested in. I've probably mentioned it a little bit in some of my 1,580 plus videos, but I'm going to address it today specifically. And that is, what is your opinion on dating someone who has already had a relationship with a Filipina? Popular YouTube opinion is not to date a Filipina who has dated a foreigner already, as they are corrupted and more westernized. I'm curious what you think. I personally don't want a Filipino who thinks like a Western woman, but I can also see many advantages. So I want to talk about today here on Love Beyond the Sea. I've got lots of playlists as well on the YouTube channel. And check out the affiliate link to Christian Filipina, where I met my wife. Here is my response. I thought it was a good question, and I should make a video about it, so here we go. The Filipina might have had only one or maybe no relationships with a foreigner, but plenty of sexual relationships with Filipinos. If so, to me, then she is too much of a risk to trust. She might have had a short or long relationship with a foreigner. You just have to find out, I guess. If it was online only, then probably nothing to be concerned about. But if they had a relationship in person, that could be different. And what kind of relationship was it? Did they have a sexual relationship? I think that is most likely the case. Was this Westerner serious about her? Was she serious about him? Is she not picky or selective with Westerners? I do think Filipinos need to be more selective there. What is she looking for in a husband? Is she looking for a husband in those cases? I realize some men are concerned about this, and since it hadn't been a concern of mine, I had not given it much thought. What are the concerns a guy has with a Filipino having a past relationship with a foreigner? Does it matter if it was a long time ago or if it was fairly recent? That could make a difference. I think it's possible for a foreigner to start to corrupt a Filipina in Western ways too. That doesn't, I think that's something that you should be concerned about also. She's had 6 foreigners. They probably had a big negative influence on her, don't you think? And leave comments here on Love Beyond the Sea. I think a man would need to talk about her experiences with a foreigner or foreigners. If they're going to be serious about getting married, then I think you should talk about the past. Otherwise, it's too late to expect any changes once you're married. A Filipina could have multiple experiences with foreign men and conclude that all of them were bad. So maybe it's a good thing if that happens. Rude, loud, bad vices, not friendly to Filipinos, uncomfortable around her family. If her experiences were good, she would probably still be with him and maybe even gotten married. I didn't ask my wife before we got married to go into specifics about her past relationships with Filipinos or foreigners. I was just concerned about, how we were going to get along. And we got married in only 54 days, still married 8 years and 5 months later. What I did do was ask about her day when we talked 4 hours a day, her interests, what occupied her time, her family. I talked to her about the seriousness of marriage and the type of husband I wanted to be. She followed my lead and opened up when she felt comfortable, even though I proposed to her very early. I felt like she was the type of person who would make a good wife, and certainly she did not exhibit any pre-existing traits of having been Americanized by anybody, and hasn't even since being here in America for the last 7.5 years. She seemed hardworking, responsible, said she was a Christian, which is what I was looking for. She loved children, and she was teaching special needs children for her job. Wow, I loved it. I thought she had integrity. You can always ask a Filipina about her past experiences with foreign men, but would need to be a little careful about how you get into that conversation. You don't want to come off as nosy or critical if she has had a relationship with a foreigner. I don't know if you are mainly concerned with her being loose sexually with the men, or corrupted in general with loose morals, which can be passed on by loser expats, but you'd like to think the Filipina would have the sense to not get involved with a guy like that. Again, if she did, hopefully she realizes it was a mistake and there are better men out there. Now, I would be concerned if she had 10 relationships with foreigners and no relationships with Filipinos. That might indicate that she has been influenced quite a bit. It will come down to what it always does, talking about our lives and what we are looking for, having enough things in common. You can always make things in common after you're married, a similar worldview, and of course a dedication to staying married. In YouTube, I have a live stream called 29 Ways to Keep Your Filipina from Becoming Americanized. You can find that in a playlist called Live Streams, and another video called The Type of Filipina You Can Bring to America in the playlist called the same thing. You know, we're very close to it. You can bring this type of Filipina to America. So those are some of my thoughts. Basically, it wasn't a concern of mine at all. I figured I'm going to be the one in her life now, and I figured I would be hard to beat for her. I was going to do everything I could to be the best husband. So far, it seems to be working. Just look for somebody with integrity. So let me know what you think about this. Never a concern for me. And if it is a concern of yours and you have good reason to believe that, go ahead and share this here in this video on Love Beyond the Sea.